Hello, how's everyone going? It's Jackson. Welcome back to Endeavours. It's Sunday the 18th of January. So as always, there'll be timecodes below if you'd just like to jump ahead. So this set, everything's good. The only caveats I'd probably add to this is, with extracting items, I only really think it's worth it if you're loaded, and you can just buy a bunch of glyphs quickly to deconstruct, or if you are a pretty significantly capable crafter, or like if you've got a lot of crafting materials, and you can use a bunch of runes for this. Gathering the rune stones to do this is going to take a while, and you're better off just doing some of the other options. And yeah, obviously with the Duel you just need to play it, but everything here is pretty damn good, just depending on that. Right, so what I'll do is I will start with a Duel, but if I were to choose Rotting Undead Foes, Structured Furnishings, and a Weapon Enchantment, really easy. But like I said, everything's so easy here. So with a Duel, you just have to approach another player in this game. There'll be a little hold to interact button that appears near your health bar at the bottom. You just hold that button down, it'll bring up this wheel, duels at the top left. Now there's just a few caveats to this. Firstly, you can't duel unless both people are max health. If you, say, fight a vampire at stage 4 and they don't have health recovery, you might not be able to duel them. Don't worry, that's just how it is. Also, you get all your health back when you start the duel. What I like to do is, to make the duel even quicker, as soon as the fight starts, I use something that takes away my health. As an example, Undaunted Blood Altar, just so I die quicker. If you like to duel, that's fine, but I just like to get this done as quick as possible. The last thing is completing a duel, forfeit a duel. So the only way to do this is when the duel starts, it'll put like a flag between you two. To forfeit the duel, you run away from the flag far enough where it will forfeit the duel. If this happens, I believe the person who didn't run away from the flag, it still counts for the endeavor. But if you do it yourself, it doesn't count. So just make sure either they kill you, you kill them, or they leave the duel knowing that that's what happens. Say if they've already done it and they just want to help you, as an example. Also, in the Gone Pursuits at the moment, there is a 10 duels option. So if you do want to do this at the same time, just make sure they are familiar. But just understand, probably not everyone wants to do 10 duels at once, even though it's fairly easy. And that being said, you can do the rest of the Golden Pursuit without doing duels. There's still plenty of options here you can do easily on your own, so don't worry too much about doing duels for that sake. You can completely skip anything PvP related, and you've still got plenty of options here. Alright, recharging a weapon. This one here is probably one of the best endeavors in the game. I assume most people know how recharging a weapon works, but I'm just going to cover this just in case, just cover the bases. So, right click on a weapon that you have with an enchant on it, just go charge, you select your soul gem, and you just apply that. Now, if you don't have any weapons with an enchant, or if the charges are full, let me just go through some stuff, or if you don't have any soul gems. So you'll get soul gems naturally as you sort of progress in this game. Dolmens will give you soul gems, delves, world bosses, group dungeons, public dungeons, basically anything where you do combat. The big targets like the bosses are usually going to give you soul gems, or the rewards from incursions. So naturally you'll probably get some of this stuff. Even if you, also when you do the Golden Pursuit, you'll probably get some of this stuff too, because some of these options here require you to kill bosses. So that will come with time, don't worry too much about that. If you do need one, however, you can find some in the wild. I don't know, not really in the wild, in the environment. As an example here, Starfall Arcana in Vocal Guard and Oridon. This is a place where you start with a wayshrine, so it's easy to get here. Just travel a little bit southwest from the wayshrine, come to Starfall Arcana. There are soul gems in here which you can grab. Now, provided that you're out of sight, you don't need to be stealth in here to actually grab one of these without getting a bounty, but I would advise still going into stealth just in case. So just grab one of those soul gems. It doesn't matter what level you do this on now. It used to matter, but now everything is just soul gems. It's been that way for a little while. Soul magic here. You'll have this as soon as you create a character, so it's everybody's got access to this. Just chuck it on... Oh, whoops, wrong button. Chuck it on one of these mud crabs out the front. Light attack them a bunch of times to use up the charges on the weapons. And then that will fill the soul gem that you have. And the best thing is the soul gems no longer become stolen once you fill the soul gems up. So yeah. From there, just recharge your weapon. Now, I'll also just go through quickly how to get yourself an enchanted weapon. It's also very simple. So if you need just a bit of gold for this, I advise you check the description. There is just an Endeavors prep for earning a bit of gold. It does not take much. You just basically need to be able to move around and press E, and that's like the prerequisites basically. If you can do that, you can do the prep. So go to any guild store. It doesn't really matter which one you go to, because if you go to weapons and search all, there should be something really cheap that you can buy that has a weapon enchantment on it. Just look for anything that just says something enchantment. As long as it's got that, you're good. It just has to. You have to just make sure it's a weapon, not a piece of armor or a shield. I don't think you can apply enchants for the shield. Anyway, so yeah, just buy one of these and you're good. Something else you could do is go to the Crystal Vial, just basically next door to Starfall Arcana. Go to the top floor, nab one of these Inferno Staves, go back downstairs, talk to this guy here, and buy yourself an enchant. Or buy yourself a glyph, sorry. And you could do this to do the enchanting one too, just buy a bunch of glyphs. So, yeah, just buy one of these weapon ones, put them on the weapon, and then do it that way. So, yeah, it's got a bunch of options there. Now, with the next option, extracting items, that's exactly what I would do for this. So you go to any enchanter in the game, Glamran, for example, in Crystal Vial over here, he sells you glyphs. Every single enchanter in the game will sell you an infinite source of glyphs here. So you can just buy a bunch of these and quickly extract those. However, this will be a significant amount of coin spent on those. So this is exactly why I said if you're loaded, you can do this, because it's very fast, but it does require you to pay a bit of gold. So you could do that. Also, you could, with the runes you've got collected, whether it be on your character or on the in the craft bag, you could chuck a bunch of runes together and create something. The good thing about this is, so long as you can use the runes, any combination works. It's not like alchemy where certain combinations must be made for it to actually craft anything. You can just slap together anything as long as you've got access to it. The only issue is, yeah, you have to be able to use it. So the good thing is you only really need a green triangle one and a circle brown one. And Tar and Jojota are the only ones who can use it at that level. But Jojota is the only one I would ever buy, personally, if you're going to do this through buying through guild stores. The other option, Glamran and any enchanter in the game, they sell you all the blue ones. So the only blue ones you're ever going to need and want to spend money on is Jode and Jorah, these ones here. These give you the lowest level glyphs that you can get, and that's kind of what you want to use anyway, because if you make high level ones, it's probably going to be a waste because you deconstruct them. And if you were doing it for crafting XP anyway, you get fuck all for crafting or deconstructing stuff you've just crafted on the same character. Though you could... No, you can't do that. Never mind. Yeah, that's the only two ways I'd personally do this. Obviously, if you get some stuff from doing dolmens or whatever, you can deconstruct that. But yeah, if you just want to do that one as quick as possible, just do that method. Anything else is just complicating and slowing things down. And at that point, you're better off just doing some of these other options. So yeah, just buy the runes, craft them, and leave it there, or buy them outright, the glyphs themselves from enchanters. Don't think it's worth doing anything else. Okay, now let's talk about zombies, or rotting undead foes. There's two types of enemies that will work for this, or three really, but there's basically like two enemy types. So you've got regular zombies like that, they work. There's a bunch of places you can find these. What? What do you mean? This fucking game. And option number 2 is basically mummified enemies. So Draugr and I think they're called Ranetu, found around the desert areas around like Alakir. The best places, so I think, that you want to look at, there is the overland areas first. They're quick to reach and the enemies are pretty weak, so you can come here and use them. But I prefer dungeons just because instant stuff. But yeah, Muthanar over here is great. There's a lot of zombies here. Alakir Desert out the front at the Sentinel Docks. There's a lot of zombies out here and up here. You go to Tartar's Blessing out the front. There's lots of zombies. Go to Mortalian Necropolis. There's lots of zombies over here. In Bonestream Crest, sort of in central Eastmarch, there are also lots of Draugr here. Though that being said, oh yeah, you can also find them in Hall of the Dead as well. There's lots of Draugr. For instance locations though, I prefer them because it's basically like separated from the overland. So if you just go in here on your own, these guys will never be like killed by players, so you don't have to wait for shit to respawn. So you can just come in here when you're ready and just kill these ones. Now I do prefer Crypt of Hearts, but I will just talk about this one as well. Direfrost Keep, if you have Direfrost Keep but not Crypt of Hearts, you can just use this. You just have to skip the bears at the start, basically. To run through a little bit, it takes like a minute of running. Yeah, basically you just come in here, and there's a bunch of Draugr enemies here, and you can just kill them. The other option, though, is Crypt of Hearts. So I'll just show you that one. That's my preferred one, because the zombies are really weak in there. I think they're just as weak as the skeevers that you can find in Wayrest Sewers 1. So as soon as you get in, you just turn left, ignore the enemies in the middle. There's just lots of enemies and it's a pain. In here, you just got 6 of them. Just grab an AoE spam ball and just start using it over and over. And that's it. Easy done. So, getting to these locations, pretty damn easy. A little bit of a trick for Direfrost Keep, but Crypt of Hearts, super duper easy. So, Wraith Home over here is what you're looking for. If you've never been to Rivenspire, you can just use this to basically fast track the whole thing. It's basically just like home chores here, it's basically just like having a bunch of wayshrines unlocked as soon as you start the game. It's like really fucking handy. So you can find it here. There's a video in the description though, just alongside the gold Endeavor prep, that just explains how home tours works if you want to know. It's really handy. Get used to this thing if you want to travel around easily on like new characters. It's so bloody helpful. So yeah, just use Wraith Home there. You just travel a little bit down southeast, and Crypt of Hearts will be right here. Now, Direfrost Keep, a little bit more of a pain. There's not really any houses close by, so what I'd probably do is just use one of them to get here. There's another house over here that you can use, and just trek over. That, or get a player to bring you here, over to one of these wayshrines and unlock it yourself. Or, better yet, get a player to bring you to Direfrost Keep, and then they don't have to help you with it, you can just do it yourself. It's very easy. Everything in here is pretty weak. And in there too. Okay, last option on the list, structure furnishings. So firstly, if you've got a house already, it's quite probable you've already got a structure furnishing there. So you shouldn't have to worry about this part. But there is a structure furnishing you can buy for 100 gold. That's going to be the only gold you're ever going to need to spend doing this one here. So firstly, you can get a house for free. And it's the same place you can get a structure furnishing, just across the way. So this is Glenumbra. This is the town of Daggerfall, just the south side. This wayshrine is unlocked as soon as you start the game. So just travel here when you're ready. This NPC is who you want to talk to for a free house. Felon Demery exalts the dialogue, completes the quest. You'll get a house here that shows up if you haven't got it yet. There are 3 available. So just go to the map, go to houses here under collected. There'll be Rosy Lion, Ebony Flask, and also Mara's Kiss. These are the 3 houses you get by completing this quest on the different 3 alliances that are in the game. So I'd advise doing all 3 because they're all handy in their own ways to have. Yeah, you only need one of those and you can just travel to it from anywhere. So now just go to Rosica over the other side. Just go into the menu here. This woodcutting block is a structure furnishing. So you just need one of these. That's it. If you want to travel straight to your house, you just go to the map, go back to houses here under collected, just click on which house you want to go to. In this case, I'll just go to the one I normally go to, travel inside, confirm. You'll start the animation for it. Now, if you're close to a wayshrine, just go over to the wayshrine instead first, and then travel there. You can get an add-on called Go Home. You can set hotkeys to travel straight to your house. So as soon as you beat like a boss or something, you can just press a button, basically, and just travel straight to my house. As an example, I've got my keybinds set to numpad 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and also Shift C, Shift H, Shift G. So I can just, I've got like 7 different locations for a bunch of houses I can travel to with this thing. So yeah, it's really handy to have all that stuff because it just means you can travel, like, it allows you to just like travel to a bunch of places really quick, like without even having to look at the map. So that add-on, if you want to check it out, is Go Home, this one here by Static Recharge. This add-on, I probably use this more than any other add-on in the game, maybe aside from the user interface one. So yeah, really good. Okay, so if you're looking for structure furnishings, firstly, if you want to know if you've got one in your home, just press the housing editor button, go to browse, and go to retrieve here. Under structures here, you can see I've got a woodcutting block. So that's how you can find out if you've got one in your house already. So I'll just go find this wood cutting block. I'll just pretend that I've just bought it and it's in my inventory. Pick that up. So what you do is you just go somewhere where you want to place it. You just go housing editor, browse, and then you'll be in the place menu here. Just find structure this wood cutting block and you place it on the ground. Now, just left click spamming to pick it up and put it down does nothing for the endeavor. What you need to do instead is use undo and redo. So Z for undo on default, Y for redo on default. That actually works. So now what I'd advise you do is just chuck your structure furnishing in the corner somewhere. When this endeavor comes up in the future, just find this structure furnishing, pick it up, put it away with the R key, undo, redo, undo. That will place it 2 times for the endeavor as well. So that's what I do. I just keep all my housing furnishings in a corner in one of my small houses, which is like any house you got. And anytime that specific endeavor comes up, maybe just make like a notepad for yourself or like an Excel spreadsheet or some shit, and just list which of the each furnishing and what type they are, just so you can easily just come in here and just do that real quick. Yeah, it's pretty straightforward. This option here is always good because you spend 100 gold once and then you basically never have to spend anything again. If you do want a small house though, to spend a little bit of gold, I think it is worth getting like a small house with a small courtyard. You shouldn't really have to spend anything more than like 80 grand or 100 grand, 100,000 gold in the game, because there's some really good options. My preferred one on EU right now is Autumn's Gate. This option is really cheap and it's got a nice courtyard, just like a small house. In Bankrupt, excuse me. You've got Twin Arches over here. It's good. It's got a nice little courtyard. There's 2 in Malabar Tor that are excellent. You've got Blackvine Villa, and you've also got Cyrodiilic Jungle House. These both have good courtyards too. And yeah, all of these, as far as I'm aware, they all have structure furnishings of some kind. Twin Arches, I'm not sure, but I know the other 3 do. Okay, and if you want this house specifically, this house is also quite nice. It's like $8 in the actual ESO website store. Honestly, if you have a house already, I wouldn't get it. But if you don't have one at all, this is probably like the best in like real money thing that you could probably buy out of anything, I'd say. Because this is $8, you get like 800 crowns, which is basically like $6. So the house is kind of like $2, I guess. Which is not a lot, considering how it's not that small when you look at it, really. It's very nice to look at. You've also got the thing here, which you can press, and it enables the flowers on the front, and like the vines on the front. So yeah, quite nice. Anyway, that's all from me. If you got any questions, you know the drill, just give me a holler. Gone Pursuit's almost done. Well, the first part. Almost there. But yeah. So thanks everyone for watching. Thanks for your support as always. I'll see you next time. Have a good rest of your weekend.